I wonder if you're picking this up. I'm eating a bowl of ramen. Firstly, because I'm hungry. Secondly, because I thought, what an intimate way to do a little podcast. I'm not going to make it very ASMR, because honestly, I fucking hate ASMR. I think it's really annoying. Sorry to be controversial, but I do. But yeah, so I thought this is quite an intimate way to do this episode. Hold on. Especially eating ramen. I feel like ramen's quite an intimate thing to be eating. It's also splattered all over me. Anyway, I've just realised, I realised last night when I was trying to go to sleep, I was thinking about the podcast, and I was like, not once have I ever introduced myself on here. I've never openly went, hi, I'm Gabrielle, and I'm the host of the Gift of the Gab podcast. Firstly, because I feel really awkward doing that. I don't know why. I'm not really an awkward person, but like introducing myself, I'm like, God, that is so gimpy. But my name is Gabrielle, and I am the host of the Gift of the Gab podcast, and I'm 23 years old. I've had to pause this podcast and intervene here because I'm editing this from the future. I'm not 23. This just goes to show how awkward I feel introducing myself. I'm not 23, I'm 22. I'll be 23 in a month. I clearly just panicked. Carry on. Anyway, enough of that. I actually, before we get into this, I'm basically going to be doing this episode on 3 of my big fat dating fails, because I was thinking back, I'm in a happy, healthy relationship right now, but I was thinking back to my previous situationships, experiences, relationships, whatever, and some of them have been interesting, to say the least. So I thought this would be a really funny episode to do while I eat my ramen, like we're on a date. So, but firstly, before I get into that, and it's all fun and games, I want to go on a little rant, because earlier today I was uploading to Instagram about Israel and Palestine, and I'm actually going to read out what I said, because there was a video of a young father who was searching through the rubble for his daughter, and I was like, obviously shocked, taken aback, very upset by it, and I went to upload it to my personal Instagram story, saying, I'll read out exactly what I said. This is happening right now as we speak. The people suffering don't have the privilege of scrolling past and ignoring these horrific, inhumane scenes that we see on our feeds. We all have a responsibility to speak up, educate ourselves, email our MPs, protest, and be absolutely fucking outraged at the genocide that is unfolding in front of us, while our government sits back and does absolutely nothing about it. And Instagram wouldn't let me upload it. They wouldn't let me upload it. So I like clicked upload, and it just went fail to upload, and I was like, okay, sus. And then and then I like screenshotted it and tried to upload it again, and it did the exact same thing, and I was like, no, that's really weird. And my Instagram started like glitching and everything. It was saying it like wouldn't load anything. I tried to go on like the search page, wouldn't let me onto it. So I just picked like a random selfie that I found in my camera roll, and I uploaded it, and it worked. It fucking worked, because they don't want us talking about it. So I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about it, and I feel like, even though like I don't have a huge platform, but I still feel like I have a responsibility to speak about it, and I think anyone that's listening, we all have a responsibility, like I tried to upload on my Instagram. So, well, that's brought a bit of a downer on here, so I'm going to have some ramen. Actually, one more thing. I went to a Pilates class earlier today, and the woman that was taking it, I usually go on a Tuesday night, but I was feeling really pretty shit on Tuesday, so I didn't go, and I asked if I can come on Thursday morning instead, and I went, and I walked in, and she was like, Gabrielle, right? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And then the whole time she called me Georgina, and she kept picking on me, and I was like, girl, I don't like, and she kept picking on me the whole time, and I mean, like, I'm not like a Pilates expert, do you know what I mean, but she kept coming for me, and she kept going, Georgina, and I didn't have the heart to tell her that my name was Gabrielle, even though she literally called me Gabrielle. And then, actually, there was twice throughout the lesson where she went, Gabrielle, but at the start, I realised that she was calling me Georgina because I was chewing gum, which probably shouldn't have been, but I was chewing gum, and I didn't realise I was chewing it, and she just went, Georgina, can you please spout your gum? I don't know who Georgina is. I don't know her. So I just carried on chewing my gum and, just lying there staring at the ceiling on the mat. And she was like, Georgina, Georgina. And like, I turned my head and I realised that she was looking at me. And I was like, oh, of course, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, those are my updates. Anything else to update on? I'm going to cut out all of me chewing. What are my other updates? The weather's getting shit. I've actually stuck a sad lamp on. I love a sad lamp because I suffer from sad, and also the lighting's great because it's getting dark. It's like, what? 3 o'clock? To be fair, I'm filming quite late. This is usually the time that I crash like really hard and I need a nap. And whenever I was working at this old restaurant in Edinburgh, the manager always would look at me at like between 3 and 4 because I would just go bleh, and I just didn't give a shit anymore. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to chat some shit about some people I've dated. And we're going to get into the episode. So, I have picked 3 stories, 3 different boys. Unfortunately, I'm straight, sometimes. And I have picked these because they'll probably do the least damage. And they're from quite a while ago. So, first one is, I'm going to do it in chronological order. So, the first one is my first ever high school boyfriend. And he cheated on me so many times, and I was a total mug. And I must have been like 15, 16. It wasn't like a real relationship, do you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't real love there, do you know what I mean? It was just like teenage horniness. And then the second one is the weirdest boy I've ever dated in my life. Like, I'm talking a freak. And then I know another girl that's dated him. She had like a very similar experience. I really want to reveal what she said about him because it is just like, oh, you're so fucking weird. But I won't do that to her. But I really want to. Anyway, and then the third one. Oh, is it going to do at least what damage all of this? You know what? I don't give a shit. And then the third one is the most embarrassing date I've ever been on. Like, oh, even thinking about like my arsehole is clenching. I want to rip my eyeballs out because it's so embarrassing. This actually all came to light because one of my besties came over for a sleepover the other day, and we were talking about, I think we were just talking about like dates and stuff, and like I recalled this awful date that I went on. Like I just embarrassed myself so much, and she was howling. She was like, you should totally do like a sit down like eating podcast and talk about like your date as if you're on a first date with like people. To be honest, I wouldn't eat ramen on a first date. I wouldn't eat food on the first date. I would go for a drink, which is probably not great because you just get fucked like I did. I'll get into it for the third person, but I don't know, where else would you go on a first date? I would always go for like a drink. Not that I'm going on any first dates, obviously, but yeah, I would go for a drink. Like, I probably wouldn't go for like a coffee because I'd end up just getting anxious and like wanting to shit. And maybe a walk. Not dinner though. I feel like that's a bit much for a first date. Unless you already know them, do you know what I mean? Ramen break. Oh, I left the shell. For anyone on YouTube. You know what? Fuck it. That's not nice. That is really not nice. Oh, that's probably fucking awful actually. That scratched my throat. I just took a good 10 minutes there to just scoff that ramen, and I'm gonna have to edit it all out, and I undercooked that pak choi. I might leave that in actually. Anyway, let's get into the first one. The first one, like I said before, this was my first ever relationship. Like, I might have been from like 14, 15, 16. Like, we were on and off a lot for maybe like 2 years or something. And we're going to name this boy Rugby Boy because he was the ultimate rugby boy. And we all know what a rugby boy is like, don't we? Especially here in the UK. Wonderful people. Wonderful people. So, Rugby Boy and I went to school together, and I don't even know how we started dating. I'm pretty sure I just pulled him at a house party or something. And you know what some high school relationships are like. They're not like real. For some people they are. Like I had a relationship after that and it was very real, but like for us I was like I said before, it was just teenage horniness, and like I thought he was fit and he was on the rugby team. Do you know what I mean? Like that was literally it. I don't even really know if we had that much in common. Like, see, thinking back, I'm like, what did we actually talk about? And for the majority of our relationship, he didn't have a phone, so we like didn't text. He would message me occasionally on Facebook, on like Messenger. Was this even a relationship? Anyway, yeah, so we met in school. He was a fanny. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was such a fanny in school, but he was a fanny too. And we went out on and off for like 2 years, and he cheated on me so many times. So many times. Like, I think at least 12. Maybe that was a wee bit of an exaggeration, but it was like a lot. And we broke up so many times. Like, he would just break, but like I wouldn't ever break up with him. He would just break up with me like over Snapchat. When he had a phone, he would just break up with me over Snapchat. Maybe he did it a couple of times over Facebook Messenger, but a lot of it was on Snapchat, and then he would block me. And like, I remember I was never like upset about it because I didn't really care. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't like in love with him. I didn't like really have deep feelings for him. I just thought, well, this is shit. Like, because now I don't have a boyfriend anymore. Like, but like, you know, it wasn't like real crushing, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking die because he blocked me on Snapchat. Like, it was just like, okay, because he always came running back, so I just was like, okay babes, right, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And then he would always unblock me and like send me a message just like, hi, and I was like, okay, we're back together. Like, how ridiculous is that? When I look back, I'm like, babes, you were a mug. Like, I would never let anyone do that to me again, but back then it was just whatever. So yeah, and I, like, he was just a toxic rugby boy, like toxic masculinity, you know what I mean? And like I said, broke up so many times, and like he cheated on me so many times, but there's 2 cheating things that stand out to me the most. One time being when a girl messaged me on Facebook Messenger. I get a wee request. First line, hey girl, I just wanted to, and I knew at that moment, I literally didn't even have to open it. I was like, I fucking know he's cheated on me again. Like, I know he has. So I opened the message and she's sent me a text. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try find it. I actually don't even have Facebook anymore. So, no, I can't find it for you. So, yeah, so I opened the message and it's basically just her being like, he's been messaging me, he's been sending me pictures of his neck, we've been exchanging, basically just like, we're exchanging nudes, and I was like, okay, great, and I was a mug, and I just didn't bother. I was like, that's alright, and I was just like, whatever, like, out of sight, out of mind. I literally, I think I just didn't care about him, because like, I wasn't even upset, like, I was just kind of like, oh, God, you're such a dick. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, okay. And he was coming over that day, and I remember, like, I think I texted him beforehand, and I sent him screenshots of him. I was like, what the fuck is this? And he just obviously denies it, gaslights me, and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're, like, believing this, babe. Like, what the hell? And I'm like, oh my God, you're so, like, don't even bother coming over. Like, you're such a dick. Comes over anyway. We literally, I think, we waited like 10 minutes, had a chat about it, and I was like, whatever. That's how ridiculous this relationship was. So that happened, and there was other times where he would just like get with girls at parties and he would just break up with me. He was just a terrible boyfriend. And the thing is, like, I don't know if I can really be like, you're a horrible person, because I was such a little dick in school. Like, I think a lot of people were. Like, I'm so different from when I was in school. Like, I've really matured. Like, if I met myself when I was younger, I'd want to punch her in the face. Like, fully, I would break my nose. Like, I was such a little twat. So maybe he's changed. I doubt it, because he did follow me on Instagram the other day. Sorry. I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? I'm not sorry, because you were a dick. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah. The second one that really rings a bell for me in the cheating stories with him is that we were at this house party. I actually can't believe I let this slide. I cannot believe I let this slide. So rugby boy and I are at this party, some high school party, I don't really remember it, and like I'm pretty sure I went upstairs and I come back down and he's necking on with someone on the couch in front of my face, and I literally look at him and he's just minding his business. He continues kissing her, and I remember he pulls back, he looks at me and he's just like, oh fuck, and just keeps kissing her. And again, I wasn't even like that upset. I was just like, oh, what you like, rugby boy? What you like? You're just gonna keep being you. I'm so glad that you're so loyal to yourself, but not to me, apparently. So there's this really nice boy in my year who took me aside and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, used to it. Just our relationship. We've got a really unique relationship. Oh. And then once he's done kissing this girl, like I remember him being super drunk as well. Not that that's an excuse to cheat on me, but I remember him being super drunk. And then the girl, I knew this girl too. The girl he was kissing was a year above me. I just assumed she didn't know that he had a girlfriend because we're all girls here, are we not? Apparently fucking not. Because she comes up to me at the end of the night, and as she's leaving, she turns to me, she goes, babe, I'm so sorry about rugby boy. And I was like, babe, girl, woman to woman, 15-year-old to 16-year-olds, don't worry about it. Like, you didn't know he had a girlfriend. Like, he is the worst, he's a dick. And this girl goes, no, I'm sorry because I did know. Be calm. Why am I getting annoyed about this? Literally 6 years on. I have no words. And from that day forwards, I didn't particularly like her. But then she did let me use her ID on a night out. And I was like, okay, I like you again. Maybe she did it because she felt guilty. Those were two of the times I can really remember. The other times, who knows? Because there was too many to count. But our relationship was just, I mean, high school, do you know what I mean? He had a lot of daddy issues. I had a lot of daddy issues. I'm trying not to give too much, as if people are going to figure this out, do you know what I mean? Wouldn't surprise me if he messaged me about this. Ken hope he does. It would be quite funny. But yeah, like, it was just a ridiculous relationship, to be honest. And I've learned to not let anyone treat me like a mug ever again. It's not fucking happening. So yeah, how long did our relationship last after that? Not very long, because then I ended up getting my like proper first boyfriend, first love, and I remember he cried about it in a bathtub at a house party when he found out we were together. I'm so sorry for exposing you. I'm not that sorry, but I am sorry that it's all coming, like that I'm bringing it back up, you know, I'm bringing it back out again. But yeah, I specifically remember like seeing rugby boy cry in a bathtub at a Halloween party. Also, he was dressed in a racist costume, so fuck him. But yeah, and he was crying in the bathtub about it because I had a new boyfriend, and I was like, grow up. I kind of loved it at the time, obviously. I was like, but now looking back, I'm like, God, that was just so ridiculous. Pretty sure he bought me a Pandora ring, like a really cute one, like one of the December one, you know, like the turquoisey one, the old Bristol ones, yeah. Or maybe it was a princess ring, I don't know. So yeah, that sums up my first ever relationship, quotation marks on relationship. And yeah, it was an interesting one. What did I learn from it? Not to let anyone treat me like a mug. Don't date rugby men. Because I've also had quite a few experiences with rugby men. They're horrible. I've never had a good experience with a rugby guy. That's not actually, well, not romantically. Like, friendly-wise. There was this one nice boy I went to school with, and he was a rugby boy, and he was lovely. And be a girl's girl. be a girl's girl, you know? Even if you're 14, 15, 16, always stick with the girls. But yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you. Next. Let's go to the second. Oh, the second one, he's a freak. I'm also going to put a necklace on because I'm looking at myself in this camera and I don't like it. I'm looking very plain. So my second story is about a boy that I had a situationship with in first year of uni, and he's hands down one of the weirdest boys I've ever met. No, probably the weirdest boy I've ever met. And as I'd mentioned before, I know a girl who also was seeing him, and she is really good friends with one of my really good friends, and my really good friend was asking me, being like, isn't that fucking freak that you dated? And I was like, tell her to run. So yeah, we're gonna call him Weird Boy. So Weird Boy, because I feel like freak is a bit mean, even though he is a freak. We'll just call him Weird Boy because freak's very aggressive. So Weird Boy, as I said, first year of uni. We met at an afters at like 4 a.m. on St. Patrick's Day, and I should have just known from that moment that he was a freak. I keep saying freak, but I don't know what other word to use. So I met Weird Boy at this afters, and like I'm literally now thinking back to this afters and how he was behaving. I don't know how I didn't go, maybe not, Gabs, maybe stay away from this boy because he seems like a weirdo. I was like, no, he's fit. Like, see, younger me, I was like, nah, they're fit, like, that'll do. It doesn't matter about the personality or if they're a fucking weirdo, just go for it. This boy. So at this afters, I really don't think I should get into specifics of this afters because he was acting crazy, and probably because he was maybe on something. Can I get sued for that? I'm not naming anyone. I'm not naming names. Can I get sued for that? Probably not. Ramen break. So I meet him at this afters. He's too busy doing his weird stuff. And I'm like, who the hell is that? He is the fittest boy I've ever seen. Who is that? 19-year-old me is going crazy. No, am I even 19? No, I'm 18. 18-year-old me is like, oh my god, he's so hot. Oh god. And he didn't pay any attention to me. He could not have given a shit. He probably didn't even know I was there. Like, he could not have cared less about me. I can't believe it. I've just remembered something else. So I'm non-existent to him, but I find his Instagram through the mutual people that we have there. I'm like, who is that boy? Oh, I'm cringing at myself. So yeah, next day I follow him on Instagram. He follows me back, and I'm like, result, get in. Like, I'm in there, class. We somehow start speaking. I'm pretty sure he might have slid into my DMs, or maybe I slid into his. We get to talking, and turns out he literally lived right down the road from my uni halls. Like, his parents bought him his own flat. I was like, class. Obviously at 18 I was like, you've got your own flat, like, that is so cool. His parents had bought him a flat for him and his brother. I was like, this guy is minted, cool, hot, how fun. Oh, my chopstick fell on the floor. So we somehow end up meeting up. I don't know how or where. It might have been like on a night out that we ended up like meeting again or something, but we started seeing each other like really quickly, and it got intense really quickly. Like, I was staying at his all the time. He was really weird, but I remember one of the first times we hung out, he also had a car. He had a flat, a car. He was in uni, but he also like had a job as well as uni, so he had like a guaranteed job for when he finished uni. I thought I'd won the lottery. I was like, I'm sorted for life. Oh, I cringe at myself. I was so naive and so fucking annoying. So yeah, he picked me up in his car. This might have actually been the first time we hung out. I honestly don't remember. Blurry time. I was also heavily depressed first year of uni and really not in a good place. So everything just blurs into one. But I remember we were on a little drive about, we were just chatting, probably got McDonald's, and we were in this car park, and he tells me to like Google something on his phone. And I go on his phone, I open up Safari, I go to Google, and I'm alerted to the fact that on the Safari page, it's on the WikiHow page, and it's like how to tell a girl you like her in like 5 steps. And honestly, I'm like, that's kind of cute, but then it turned out he was just a freak, okay? So I can tell people are gonna be like, no, but that's like really sweet. Yeah, it was at the time, but it's not that sweet, okay? So, and I'm like, and also I'm like feeling so awkward. I'm like, are you like, is this like your first date? So I just kind of like laughed off, and he saw, obviously got really embarrassed. He was like, I just don't really know how to do this. And I was like, oh, it's okay, like I like you too, like that. And it was fine, but things got a little bit weird. So like I said, things got really intense really quickly. We spent loads and loads of time together. He was really weird. He made like really weird comments. Oh my god, something else has just come back to me. One time we were lying in bed. Oh god, why did I not run for the fucking hills? Well, we're lying in bed and we're just having a chat, and I remember he turned to me and he was like, if you were to kill someone, like, how would you do it? And I was like, okay. I think I was drunk as well, and I was like, I don't know. And he was like, he like gave me like a full on plan of how he would do it. I'm pretty sure it involved acid and stuff, and I just laughed it off, do you know what I mean? But he made more comments like this, that he was literally like, oh, like I would, like, we could totally get away with killing someone, like we so could, do you not think like we'd actually be quite good at it, like all this stuff. And I thought, I mean, again, I was 18, I was young, I was naive, I just thought he was like having a laugh, so I just kind of laughed it off. I didn't really think anything of it. And now that I'm saying that, I'm like, that's really bizarre. And like saying stuff to me, and he would always make reference to like Bonnie and Clyde, and he'd be like, we'd be like Bonnie and Clyde, and I was like, okay. Moving on. So then I just stuck with that because I'd also just been dumped by my first high school boyfriend, like, that I was like madly in love with. So I was really depressed, and I was just trying to fill this hole of my first love, and I was like, it's okay, he's a little bit freaky, but it's fine. And then he invited me up to his house. He lives in the butt-fuck middle of nowhere, the sticks in Scotland. So I went up, I got a little bus. I'm not going to tell you where this guy's from, but I got a bus and I headed on up there. He came to get me. He was excited to see me, I think, and as soon as I got in the house, his family are a bit weird, to be honest. Like, they were nice enough, but it started to get a little bit weird because I remember walking in the door and I got his mum flowers and stuff. Like, I'm all about the mums. Like, don't really give a shit about the dad, but the mums, I love the mums. And she was basically like, okay, right, so we're actually just going to help, I was about to say his name, we're just going to help Weird Boy with his homework, like his uni work. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, like, do you have your laptop? And I was like, no. So she gave me like a laptop, and we sat in the living room and helped him do his uni work. Is that not so fucking weird? Is that not so weird? And I was like, oh, okay. And he had to do some sort of presentation, and like me and his mum and him, we did it together. So bizarre. So bizarre. And also, I was shit at uni. I never went in, so I was like, babe, I'm useless to you. And he did like, I don't even remember what he did at uni. Yeah, his mum was a bit fucking weird. So I was like, you know what, I'm not about the mums anymore. So yeah, that was just like one thing, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I knew it was strange, but I was stuck in this house with these people in the fuck middle of nowhere in the sticks in Scotland. And he had a really cute dog. So after that, like, I don't really remember much because we drank so much when we were there. Like, we just kept getting drunk. Oh, I got so drunk with him all the time. I really didn't enjoy it. And we went on a night out, like in the city that's near his house, which was a trek away, by the way, because we had to get a lift off his mum to the closest town, to their train station, to then get the train into this city. Actually, I could probably just say it, Aberdeen, to get to Aberdeen. I'd never been to Aberdeen before. Interesting place. Huge seagulls. Very gothic looking city, very dark and grey. That's all I really remember, because we walked around for ages, and then he kept calling his mum and stuff, like, there's something weird there. Yeah, there's something weird there. So yeah, we were walking around Aberdeen, but we were like, essentially there we were to get drunk. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we went to dinner, and then we were going to just all these random bars in Aberdeen, and then we ended up bumping into people that he knew. I don't think they were really his friends, but like they knew of each other. And we went into this bar, and I remember being so drunk that I had to go make myself sick, because I was like, I don't know where I am, I don't have any control over the situation, I'm with a bunch of people I don't know, this boy is very bizarre, and I'm starting to realise more and more in this trip. And I also was thinking, like, I think he might have had some sort of alcohol problem. This is really getting deep. The next story is a lot not nicer, but it's funnier and really embarrassing for me. But this one just gets quite dark. So yeah, and like I just remember us just being really, really drunk, and then at one point, some older guy looked at me weirdly, and he just got into a fight with him. Like, just got into a fight with him. Then we ended up getting kicked out of the bar. We were stranded in Aberdeen, and also his mum had been like also calling me. Like, I don't know how the hell she got my number, but she'd been calling me throughout the day saying, make sure you and Weird Boy like get the last train home, like, because you're in Aberdeen, and where we stay is very far away from Aberdeen. And I also just remembered something else. And I was like, yeah, of course. And I kept saying to him, Weird Boy, we need to go get the train. Like, we need to go get the train. And he just wasn't having it, because he was just too drunk, and he was like being an absolute idiot, like I said, getting into fights. And I remember when we got kicked out, I'd left my jacket and my bag inside, and I went back in to get it. And like I said to the bouncer, I was like, listen, like I am leaving, like I'm sorry that he's punched someone, I literally had nothing to do with that, I was trying to stop and diffuse the situation, like I promise you, like I'm not here to cause trouble, I just want to grab my stuff. So I came back out, and he had a bird sitting on his lap, like as we're waiting to go home, because we'd missed the train by this point, so we had to get a taxi that was going to cost us like 100 and something quid, because he's a fucking idiot. And I made him pay for it. You best believe I made him pay for it. And he had some bird sitting in his lap, and I had to go over to him and be like, get in the fucking taxi, or literally, like, I don't really know what I can do, because I'm stuck here with you, so just get in the fucking taxi. So we get in the taxi, and he's speaking to this taxi driver like an arsehole. Like, he's being so rude to this taxi driver, and like so rude to me, like giving me such a hard time. I'm like crying in the back of the taxi, and he demands the taxi driver to pull over, like go to McDonald's and pull over. And he's like, I'll give you all my money, because like the guy, he was well off, like he was getting paid well from his job, like his family were well off, they bought him a flat and like a car and stuff in the middle of Edinburgh, you know. So he demands, like, the taxi driver, he's like, I'll just pay you whatever you want, like I'll give you extra. And the taxi driver pulls over, and he gets out, and the taxi driver then turns to me and goes, you should not be dealing with this. And I was literally crying. He was like, leave while you can, this is so not okay. This has gotten so much deeper than I expected it to. I realised that this was such an abusive relationship. Wow, breakthrough moment. I'll talk about this in therapy next week. So yeah, and I remember that taxi driver saying that to me, and then the next day he decided that he'd had enough of me, basically, and we got into like a massive scrap when we got in, because he was very chaotic, and he was a freak. I should have just called him Freak Boy throughout this, because the more I was talking about it, the more things were coming back to me. I was realising that he is a freak, and it's not too aggressive, because that's exactly who he is. And I remember that conversation with that taxi driver really stuck with me, And he was like, darling, you don't need to be doing this. Like, just leave all you can. This is not okay. He's not a nice person. Oh my God. So yeah, and then, like I said, he took me to the train station, the bus station, wherever, in Aberdeen the next day. He was like, yeah, see you later. I like really don't want you to be here anymore. And then he like sent me a text like breaking up with me while I was on the bus. And then he actually slid back into my DMs not that long after. But by then I'd moved on to someone else. And yeah, and you know what? He's actually slid into my DMs quite a few times. I don't follow him anymore, but he still follows me. Let me see when was the last time he slid into my DMs. I love being a bitch. Let's see. Freak boy. Googling him? Let's see. Freak boy. What's his second name? Maybe he's blocked me, because I can't find him anymore. Oh, what's his second name? I nearly said it out loud. Oh, yeah, he does still follow me. Right, let's see. Messages. Send message. 15th of December, asking me free, sat the 7th of January, patched. And he said that at 11, 15th of December, free Saturday, the 7th of January. No, not for you, freak boy. So yeah, let's discuss what I took away from that and what I learned. Read the red flags and don't go charging at it like a bull. Just leave the situation. Don't do another boy's uni work for them. I think it's okay. Run for the hills, I'd say. That's what I took away from it. Run for the hills whenever you meet a boy like that again. Yeah. Oh, there was a lot to unpack there. So yeah, if you're in a situation like that, please save yourself and speak to someone that you trust, and don't allow anyone to behave like that. So yeah, this next one is going to be a lot lighter. I'm going to have some ramen. This ramen is taking away all of my lip liner, and I'm looking at myself in the camera and I'm like, girl, you have no lips. But I can't afford lip injections, and my mum would literally slap me. So the third one, this is a lot lighter than the last one. I didn't realise how bad that was, but I'm going to keep it in anyway because I think it's quite important to talk about these things. And I can laugh about it now, but for my younger self, I'm like, oh my God, bless you. And honestly, I didn't even scratch the surface. So yeah, let's move on. So the third one is the most embarrassing date I've ever been on in my life. I've been dreading to talk about this because I know it's so embarrassing, but it is really funny and I want to talk about it, but mostly because it is literally like I want to rip out my eyeballs and crawl into a ball and die in a dark hole moment. Oh my God, can't believe I'm talking about this. So, set the scene. This is like, it was when I had really short hair, when it was growing out, but it was brown. This must have been, this was February 2022. That's not even that long ago. That's a year and a half ago. Okay, this is February 2022. I remember it was February because it was my friend Amy's birthday the next day, and her birthday's in February, and she was one I did Hush Hush podcast with. Shout out to you, Amy. She works in STV now. What a big girl. So yeah, this boy, we're gonna name him English boy because he was English. So English boy, we had a mutual friend basically, and we weren't introduced through the mutual friend. He just followed me from our mutual friend's Instagram and just probably thought it was fit. So I thought he was obviously good looking too, and we'd always like joked about going on a date. And then one day I was like, look, we keep talking about this, let's just do it, or like we just patch it and like just stop messaging me, because it was so like haha, we can go on a date, but like I'm not free at all for the foreseeable future, like all that stuff, because I'm really drowning in uni, blah blah blah. So I take the initiative and I'm like, let's just do it. And we pick a day and I'm like, look, I'm working all day, but I'll meet you after work. Not straight after, I'm going to go home and have a shower because I'll be stinking after a 10-hour shift. But I'll go and meet you after work, we can grab a pint. So he said, yeah, okay, let's just do it. It's now or never. It's now or never. I remember him saying that and I was like, okay. And so I'm working all day, slaving away. So we've been texting a bit during the day and he was like, where do you want to go? I don't really know Edinburgh well, like is there anywhere in particular you want to go? And I just thought somewhere close to me because I'm working all day and I need to go home, get ready. It'll be easier for me to just go straight to this bar. So I suggested, if you guys know Edinburgh, there's a place called Cold Town House. Everyone knows Cold Town House, that's not something that's unknown. I'm like, meet me at Cold Town House. And he goes, where's Cold Town House? Have you been living under a fucking rock? And I was like, how long have you lived here for? 6 months. And I was like, red flag. Like, do you not go outside? So I just went, okay, right, you just pick a place then, because you don't know Edinburgh clearly. 6 months here. Okay. And he suggests some little pub. I didn't know where it was. Turns out it was in Newtown. I was actually staying above the Pubic Triangle, which is 3 strip clubs. Very classy. Next to Westport, next to Grassmarket. If anyone knows Edinburgh, you'll know the Pubic Triangle. So I was staying there at the time. And if you know where that is, that's a trek from Newtown. Especially if I'm finishing work at 9 o'clock at night, or like 9:30 from Old Town, having to rush home, have a shower because I'm honking, and then go straight to Newtown. So I rush home, get ready, I'm looking good, and I get an Uber to Newtown. And I meet him at this little pub. It's a really cute pub. It turns out a lot of people that he knows likes it, 'cause there's quite a few people in there that I know too because of our mutual friend. So we're just chatting away. But like the pub's only open for like an hour and it's like 10 o'clock at this point. It closed at 11. I'm like, well, this was dumb. And we'd ordered a bottle of wine and we were necking it. Like necking it. I'd hardly eaten that day. Like, if you work in hospitality, you know, you only get one meal and it's like a really awkward time, and then you're never really that hungry after. I mean, I was never really that hungry after I'd been on shift because I'd seen so many million like leftovers and stuff. So let's just say my stomach wasn't lined and I was getting fucked. Like, oh I can't believe I'm talking about this. So yeah, and we're one bottle of wine deep and we ordered another one, and like we didn't even make a dent in it because the guy's like, I'm so sorry guys, like the bartender's like, guys, I'm so sorry, like you're gonna have to leave because like we're shut. And the guy I'm with, English boy, he's like, like, is there any way like we can just take the bottle with us, like not even drank it yet? And the bartender's like, I'm really not supposed to do that. And I must have charmed him because I was like, look mate, like genuinely, like won't tell anyone, like we're just gonna take it, like, and we're just gonna go somewhere. And he was like, okay, sound, like just take it. So we take the bottle of wine, and by fucking chance he lives across the road. And I was like, you've made me trek after work from the other side of this city to come to you in this little pub, and you live right across the road. Don't think I don't know what you're doing here. So I go up to his. So I go up to his, because at this point I'm drunk. And we go up to his, and we keep drinking the wine, and for some stupid fucking reason, I think it's a good idea to smoke a joint. Anyone in their right mind knows that's the worst idea in the fucking world. But I wasn't in the right mind. I was drunk on 2 bottles of wine, or maybe 1 because we shared it. 1 bottle of wine. And I'm a petite woman. I had not lined my stomach. I was just fucked. And I smoke a joint. That's me. I'm out. Like, and I hardly remember this night, but I do remember little bits. I remember being sick in his toilet. I remember spilling red wine down my cute little orange crop top. He had to put on a wash for me because it was covered red wine. I remember at one point he put on a film and I fell asleep on his shoulder, and then I think we tried to have sex, but it didn't work. I was so like, this was consensual, by the way. Like, I remember giving consent, but like, see when you're really drunk and you're high, you're very dry, and he didn't have lip. And I only remember snippets of our conversation, and I literally want to die. It's so bad. I don't even want to share it. I've already shared enough about being dry, not having lube. I'm not telling you about some of the stuff that was said. It was so bad. Oh my god, I'm gonna be sick. Yeah. And I woke up the next day at like 7 in the morning, and I literally, like, I think he wanted me to go because he was like, I've got a lecture, and I was like, 7, okay. So I just left. I think I lost my Dior lip gloss there or something. I left something there, but I also, because I was like, I had that little tiny crop top on and like nothing else, I had to like wear his jumper till I was like, I'm really sorry, like I need to take a jumper. I'm not going out at like 7 in the morning in February in Edinburgh to go back to my flat at the other side of the city. Like, you need to give me something, I'm so cold. So he gave me his jumper. Oh god, that night is horrific. And it was thing is, the date was going well up until I completely fucked it. I actually don't even remember his name anymore. I was trying to think about it last night and I really cannot think of his name. Anyway, he's English boy to me now. And then the next day he like texted me asking for his jumper back, and I met him and it was so awkward. And then I went for food with our mutual friend and I was like, did he say anything? Because I didn't want people to find out how much of an arse I'd made of myself. And she was like, oh my god, no, why? And I was like, I just got really drunk. And she was like, that's okay. And I was like, no, you have no idea how fucking drunk I got. And she said he didn't say anything, and I was like, I really loved that you're probably lying and you're probably just trying to save me some peace. Obviously I never saw him again, ever again. Yeah, I wonder what he's doing now. Hopefully living his best life. He was a nice boy. He never did anything wrong. I just completely fucked it for myself. The thing is, it's so much worse than like how I'm letting it on. Like, it really is. Like, if you think that's bad, it was so much worse than you could possibly imagine, because some of the things I was saying and some of the things that he was probably saying. And like, he was like a 6'4" like rugby boy, but like a nice one. Rugby guy. Probably with a lot more resistance to alcohol than me, who's 5'4". There is a whole thing with women getting more drunk than men due to the way that we're built or something. So yeah, you can imagine I was on another fucking planet, and I'm pretty sure we had more to drink at his after that second bottle of wine. Can't believe I smoked a joint. Probably because I thought I was being cool. I was like, yeah, I'll smoke a joint with you. Shut the fuck up. So yeah, what did I take away from that, from English boy? Don't do that on a first date. Do not get drunk. Maybe limit yourself to like 3 drinks on a first date. Also pick somewhere that's in between the both of you, because that's the only thing he did wrong, was do that. Because I was like, as if you live right across the road from this pub. He took me to his local. Are you fucking serious? So yeah, don't get drunk. Don't get as drunk as I did. Don't smoke a joint. Don't smoke joints in general because it's illegal. And yeah, that really traumatized me, and I've never done that since. I've never smoked and done that again since, because I was so traumatized by that. And yeah, honestly, that's all I take away from that, is just don't fuck it for yourself if you want a second date. What a wonderful episode that was. I feel deeply embarrassed. We walked down memory lane. I'm so deeply embarrassed right now. You know what? It's fun. I can laugh about it now. It was a laugh. I'll probably do this again. And I'm going to keep eating on my podcast. I'll make sure I don't do ASMR though. Like I said, I find that really annoying. And I'm going to eat my ramen. I just got a chunk of chili. Anyway, I will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to be that person. Don't forget to give me 5 stars. Follow me on Spotify. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow my Instagram, gift_of_the_gab_PC. Follow me on TikTok, gift_of_the_gab_PC. I might be getting those wrong. You can find me on the internet. But yeah, thanks for watching, listening, and keep being sexy. Bye.